Hey, do you want to build a stronger family, create a better life? Well, that's what Divorce with Heart is all about. It's a show where I guide you along your divorce and co-parenting journey using the heart's wisdom, intuition, and legal expertise. So sit back, take a deep breath, relax. My name is Gina DiPrima. Let's get started. Hello, happy Monday. I am so happy to be here with you, and I'm so excited about this topic. And I'm going to tell you that what I want to talk to you about today, it's about your energy and minding your own energy, or checking your bags at the door, so to speak, before you get yourself into a situation. And this really situation could be anything, any kind of interaction. And I'm so excited to talk about this because although this isn't a new idea, and I've certainly touched on it in the past, I was recently reminded of this idea in my own life, in my own practice, and it wasn't because I was minding my energy in a good way. Let's just say that, okay? I was reminded of this because I wasn't minding my energy, because I was letting, some negative thoughts and things get the best of me. And what that looked like was this. I'm just going to start there and tell you what happened. So, I had a meeting scheduled with a client, which is no big deal for me. I've got client meetings scheduled all day long, all the time. I mean, that's just how it is when you're a lawyer, okay? But there was something wrong with me, something that I had going on, okay? And it was this idea where, let's just face it, I didn't want to be there. Okay, I didn't want to be there. It was a beautiful day. It was over the summer. It was supposed to be my vacation week. Okay, I'm sure you can relate to this. When you've got to do something, you've got it on the calendar, but there's other things you want to be doing. All right. So, long story short, I just wasn't feeling it, right? How many of you have ever been there? You're just not feeling it. And I just wasn't, okay? And quite frankly, I was a little pissed off because I was like, why is this even on my calendar? It's supposed to be my vacation week. What is going on here? Well, it was so important that this client had to see me, okay? And the reason why I'm sharing this with you, it has nothing to do with the client, my poor client. It had everything to do with me. So, of course, I have these thoughts. I have these feelings ruminating inside my head, my body, my energy field, and because that's the way it is. And I'm taking that with me, and I brought that with me to the meeting, okay? I brought that with me to the meeting. Well, you don't have to be a genius to guess what happened. It wasn't that good. It really was not such a great meeting. I really feel like it was my energy, my negativity that clouded the meeting. Now, I'm not going to say that it was terrible, but certainly if I would have taken the time to get myself in check, right? If I would have taken the time to look through my bags before I left for this meeting, I guarantee you that the meeting would have went a lot better. Because let's face it, nothing in life happens in a vacuum, okay? It doesn't happen in a vacuum for me, for you, for anyone. So whether it's meeting with a client or talking to your ex or your spouse or your child, whatever the case is, it's not in a vacuum. We are constantly reacting to one another, and we are constantly responding to one another. And it's not always in the obvious sense, I don't even mean it that way. We are picking up on and responding to things that you may not even be consciously aware of, and really, this is also a scientific fact. I love just saying that this is now scientifically proven because it is. It really is. If you go to heartmath.org, for example, that website, you'll see all of the research studies, a ton of great articles, all about the research of the heart and the heart's electromagnetic field. And that's what I'm talking about here. These scientists have found and discovered that the electromagnetic field produced from your heart is 100 times stronger than the field produced by your brain. than the field produced by your brain, okay? They've also found that it can be measured up to 3 feet outside of the body. Now, my guess is that it can be measured a lot further than that, and that it can be measured even, non-locally, whereas, for an example, I'm here in New York, I could be sending like thoughts or vibes or really putting my intention on somebody out there in California, and my guess is that can be measured and picked up within the waves, right? Within the energetic waves, the electromagnetic field. But we just don't have the tools yet to measure it like that. At least not that I'm aware of. Maybe we do, but I'm not aware of it, okay? So right now, our tools take us to 3 feet. But the point is that these scientists have discovered this. They've validated this. It is now, it's proof. It's positive. Proof positive, they call it, or whatever they call it. Okay, but it's there. And what they found is that within these waves that are emanating from our body is information. And what kind of information? It's your thoughts. It's your feelings. It's your vibe. How many times have you just kind of thought about that? Like, oh, that's low vibe. That's high vibe. I feel, it's icky, or you feel things. You feel things. Whatever your language is that you put on it, that's what I'm talking about. So these are the subtle things that happen, the subtle information that is exchanged between each one of us, quite frankly, every time that we have a conversation, every time that we have a meeting, even if we're not physically together, this information is exchanged. So that is why I'm saying it is so important to check your bags. Before we send our kids off to school, what do? We look through their bags, we look through their agenda, we make sure they're in order, we pack their lunches. If we're not doing it, we're asking someone to help us, we're teaching them how to do it. But the point is I know if you're a parent out there, you've probably got this mental checklist of what you do to help your children be successful in their day at school, right? Well, we've got to do the same for ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves in the same way and check in our bags, check in our emotional energy, check in where our thoughts and our feelings are before we enter into a meeting will have so much effect on the outcome. Will have so much effect on our ultimate well-being. You don't want to. If you can, you don't want to do what I did. And that's why I'm laughing, because this is not a new idea. This is not a new concept. We've talked about it. But I'm reminded of it through my own failures, right? Through my own, failure is a harsh word, but through my own, lack of attention. Let's call it that, lack of attention, okay? And just letting life flow, right? Now, at least I noticed and I stopped myself, and not for 1 second would I ever blame my client. So please, I want to encourage you to do the same. Stop yourself. Look at things as a whole. How did you really show up for the conversation? Where was your energy? And don't be so quick to point the finger at the other person that you're talking to, okay? Or that you're thinking about, or that wronged you. Don't be so quick to point the finger, because although you might be justified in doing it, okay, depending on who you're talking to, at the end of the day, blame is not going to serve your higher goals, your higher purpose. And if your higher goal and your higher purpose is to return to a sense of feeling whole and return to peace, if you want to be able to trust again and love again and just have an easier relationship with your spouse or with your ex and with your children, right? Then blame isn't going to get you there. Blame is not going to get you there, because blame takes the power away from you. You can only change what you're willing to acknowledge and accept and take responsibility for. Blame takes you out of that equation, doesn't it? And if you're out of the equation, then you're kind of tying your hands behind your back in terms of formulating a solution. So don't be so quick, if you can, to do that. Because really, pointing the finger, if you're not going to be willing to take a second and look at yourself and how are you showing up and who are you being and what is the energy that is following you and actually even preceding you in your physical body into every interaction you have, if you're not going to take time to look at that, then you're doing a disservice to yourself and your ultimate growth and your ultimate happiness. You really are. You really are. So take the time to look at it and know also that, you're not responsible necessarily for the outcome of everything that happens. Okay. You're a player in this game. You're a character in the movie. You're writing your story right now, because there's going to come a day you're not going to be here. You're not going to be here. Your loved ones are going to be reading your obituary. Okay. I mean, I hate to sound so crass about it, but it's true. What do you want their memories to be? How do you want your children to feel when they think about their childhood, when they think about their life growing up, when they're confiding in their boyfriends and their girlfriends and their spouses about what life was like, right? Do you want them to feel good? Do you want them to feel like, even though maybe there was a rocky road and there were some challenges and there were some ups and downs, that they're well equipped, that they learned how to rise above it, that they learned how to problem solve, that they learned how to forgive? Because if you want that for your children, it's time to start modeling it and doing that for yourself, right? And this is just one of the ways of taking responsibility and really getting into and questioning where you're at. Let me take a sip of water here. Sorry. Where you're at, okay, before you enter into something. Being mindful of this electromagnetic field, because it's there, whether you believe it or not. And, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. You can dispute it, but it's fact. It's there. It exists. Okay. So whether you believe it or not, just know that it's true. Just know that it's true. The information is there and it's being transmitted. And so you are picking up on somebody else's energy and their thoughts and their feelings just as they are picking up on yours. And some of us are more sensitive than others. I get that, but it's still there nonetheless. Right? So we've got to pay attention to that. Pay attention to that of who you're being before you start the interaction. Okay? And I know that this can be hard, because I know, especially for a lot of you, it's like you might feel like you're being constantly re-triggered all day long. You might feel like that. You might feel like, okay, Gina, fine. That's easy for you to say. This was one little incident or one meeting that you just described. I get it. But what do you do then if, for example, in my case, maybe I was constantly being texted by my office. Maybe they were constantly texting me when I was on vacation, right? That would be a trigger that would just continue and continue. And I'm relating this to you because I know that's what you're experiencing. I know that what you're going through is you're getting text messages, right? Sometimes during work hours or the worst hours. And I know you're getting those messages and you're thinking that they're even sent at that time purposefully just to instigate, or just to get a rise out of you, just to cause a problem. But the point is I know that you're getting messages, you're getting communications, you're getting emails, you're maybe even seeing your spouse. Maybe you're in the middle of a divorce and you're still living together under the same roof, and you have to wake up every morning and see him or her in the kitchen, or see him or her when you're cooking dinner and putting it on the table, drinking your cup of coffee. Okay, so I get it that the trigger is always there, or there's more, it's more frequent. It's more frequent. And that's why this is even more important, okay? So when you have an interaction that, let's just say, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? You have an argument, something is said, you're left angry, she's left angry, he's left angry, everybody's angry, everybody's walking around with a, chip on their shoulder, annoyed. Well, guess what? When they're walking around like that, where do you think the energy is? It's very low vibe. It's low vibe energy that's being transmitted, information that's riddled with the feelings of anxiety, that's riddled with fears, it's riddled with the worries of the future, which all that does was breed more conflict. It breeds more arguing. It breeds more fear. Everybody fighting to defend and protect their own and prove themselves right. So instead of that, try something different. Try something different. Next time you have an argument, next time you get triggered, Okay. See if you can, instead of letting that event rent space in your mind, in your heart, in your energy field, right? For the minutes, the hours, the days that follow the actual event, see if you can cut it off. See if you can, draw a line in the sand, bring it to conclusion. It's the finish line. It's the last chapter of that argument. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about if something happens and you get really angry and you're triggered emotionally, let it out. Feel those feelings first. I think a lot of times people are quick to try to jump to the next thing. They just don't even want to feel that. They don't want to feel the despair. They don't want to feel the sadness. They don't want to feel that sense of overwhelm. They don't want to feel how insulted they were and how, I want you to feel it. I want to encourage you to feel it. Be with the feelings. Get out a piece of paper, write it all out. Write out your story. Write out exactly how you were wronged. Write out exactly how you were hurt. Write out exactly who did it. Write out what was said. Write out what you did. Write out, everything. I want it to be the tale of woe. This is your story. This is where you get to be 100% victim and you see it how you want. And it doesn't have to be how it happened. Just the point is to feel the emotions and get it out. And when you're done, you read it. And you make a commitment. If you feel complete, if you got it out, you make a commitment that it ends there. It ends there. You're not going to take it with you. You don't want to be shackled to that anger. You don't want to be shackled to those feelings. You don't want to be shackled to that argument. So you got to end it there. You write it all out. That's it. Bottom line, not going back there again. Make that commitment to yourself. Make that commitment to yourself right then and there. Okay. Then as you go about your day, as you see these things creeping up, as you see the thoughts creeping up, the negativity creeping in, okay, notice it. Just notice it and exit out. Literally in your mind, draw like mentally in your mind a big fat red X through it. If you want to, if you have the tools available, if you're in a place where you can, write it out and draw an X through it, or even just draw an X, anything to get you in that zone of, this is not for me. You are making a stand and you are keeping it outside of your being because you've already been there. You've already felt it. You've already expressed it. And anything more after you draw that line is ruminating. And it's not productive. And it isn't going to help get you to where you want to be. It's not going to serve your higher vision for your family and for your life and who you want to be on the other side of this experience, right? So be strong and stop it. Stop it in its tracks, okay? And as you do this, you can even ask yourself, these thoughts that are coming up, if you're having a tough time, question, is me thinking this way helping me? How am I feeling as a result of this thought? Or is it hurting me? How am I feeling as a result of this thought? Not am I right, because you might be right. Whether you are right, whether you are justified, that's something entirely different. Whether something is fair or unfair, something entirely different. These are terms, by the way. These are terms and concepts, by the way, that really just breed continued conflict. They don't foster peace. They don't foster collaboration. They just don't. Okay. So if you're more interested in how you feel and cultivating the life that you want, it's got to start with you in the inside first. Okay. And so the better question isn't who's right and who's wrong and who's justified and who's not. Okay. The better question is whether or not what you're thinking and feeling is serving you. How is it helping you to feel? And if it isn't helping you feel better about the situation, then get it out of your field. Because the longer it stays in your field, the longer you ruminate, that's what you're putting out there. And everybody will feel it. They may not tell you, but they will feel it. They will feel it because, again, we don't live in a vacuum. And even though, some people are more perceptive than others, It's proven now. Again, go to heartmath.org. You could read things for yourself there. But it is proven that this information is exchanged, that we are, it's part of the conversation. It's happening all the time, whether we like it or not. Okay. So remind yourself of what your larger vision is. That will help. That will help a lot, because your larger vision isn't to be right. It's not to be vindicated. That's not it, right? At the end of the day, you want peace. You want healing. You want happiness. So you've got to cultivate that from the inside out. And on the times and the instances when it's just really tough, because it's going to happen, right? Again, drop into your heart. Drop into your heart. Do it as often as you can. Start to make a habit of it. Do it in the morning before you have your coffee. Do it at night before you go to bed. Do it before you have a conversation with somebody or an important meeting. Do it after. But do at least that heart-focused breathing that I've talked about, that I've demonstrated in Facebook. Okay? And start to breathe in a different attitude. Breathe in a different attitude, even if you're just able to breathe in an attitude of ease. Ease is that feeling that, I'm thinking of like a ninja or something, when they're moving so swiftly and so accurately and so precisely. So it's not necessarily this, relaxation feeling of vegging on the couch. It's not necessarily what ease is, but it's when everything is in flow and working and supporting you, right? Like, things are just lining up. So you can be quick and energetic, but in like this easeful, graceful kind of a way. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So if you want to practice with me, I would love to practice these techniques with you. And really, there's two ways of doing it. You can join the Divorce Intelligence membership portal. It's $47 a month. And you'll get a whole host of resources available to you that way. And we'll meet online through the Zoom platform once a month, at least once a month, okay? And we can practice these techniques, and you can ask me questions, and I'll be there to answer your questions. I'm not going to be giving legal advice, but I'm going to answer your questions in a way that's going to inject a little more heart energy into it, in a way that's going to be supportive of you shifting your perspective. Okay, shifting your feelings in a way that's going to help you to feel better and create a better life. Okay, so that's what we would do. Or second way is privately, one-on-one. I work with private clients all the time through coaching. I have several options available. And if you want to talk about that, I would love to talk with you. It's easy to get on my calendar. All you need to do is go to doorwaytoheal.com, doorwaytoheal.com. That takes you to my calendar, and it's a free chat. So why not? If you're serious about your growth, if you're serious about helping your family, if you're serious about healing through this, and you don't want to just carry over the hurt and the pain and the anger, from the past, from the years, from the last argument, if you don't want to keep carrying that with you, if you don't want to be shackled to that, because that's what it feels like. It's like you're shackled to that. If you don't want that to be in your present, and if you don't want that to be in your future, and you want some help digging out, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for, okay? Because we all rise together. You're a warrior of peace. I know you are. You're listening. That's what we promote. That's who we are. Let's stand strong together. Let's join together and help each other. And please, if you haven't, or even if you have, maybe it's been a while, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you think about this show. Let me know how it's hitting you. Let me know if it's changing anything for you. Let me know if it's impacting you, because your words mean everything to me. Your feedback means everything to me, and it helps spread the message. So if you could take that time, go to iTunes, leave me a review, leave me a rating. I would be so grateful. I really would. And that's it. From my heart to yours. Enjoy your week. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Come back next week and be sure to visit my website at dpremalaw.com to book a call, or let's connect on Facebook at dpremalaw, where you can join my group for more support. Please remember that the information shared is for general and entertainment purposes only, and that by calling in or messaging me, we are not creating an attorney-client relationship. and my advice is not intended to be legal advice. For specific legal advice, please contact a lawyer in your jurisdiction.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.